Hello, everyone. My name is Karan Tanaka. I'm here with the ASA. So last Sunday on August 16th, we had our first 2-hour challenge called Shortlist. And I'm here with John McCarthy, who is one of the winners from Sunday. John, we're really happy to have you.
Thank you so much.
So today we're going to jump in a little bit to John's composition, which he wrote all in 2 hours during the challenge. And he's going to take us through a little bit about how he used the different parameters, the ingredients that we gave them. And it's going to be interesting. But before that, John, just tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm from Canada, Toronto, and I've actually been here for about 20 years, so for a long time. I started out as a musician, a woodwind player, went to college, classical flute, and then jazz college, and then got out of college and toured with like Not the Hoople, a rock band for a year, and recorded with a band Frozen Ghosts in Canada for a couple of years. And basically I played jazz, sax, classical, did all that, and kind of fell into scoring. And my first movie was for a guy, Denis Arcand, who's a very famous Canadian director who liked the band I was in at the time, so I was lucky. And then I did a series with Paul Haggis called Due South, which kind of afforded me the ability to move from Toronto down here. And ever since then, it's just been a struggle ever since then.
I know, yes. And so are you loving the LA life?
You know, it's a bit crazy right now.
Yeah,
we're in a bit of a bubble here in the Hollywood Hills, but, you know, hopefully a year from now it'll all be different.
Yeah, well, I'm happy you found the ASA, and I'm happy you took part in this challenge.
Yeah, I love you guys. It's great. It's great.
Good.
I feel like I'm back. It's like brain food for me. It's like a chess game or something.
That is exactly why we do what we do. So yeah, we're happy to have you. Let's play through your composition, and then you can take us through it.
For sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. What was your thought process on ending it in such a light and major note?
To tell you the truth, I think it was kind of like a melancholy. You know, I kind of just came up that first string part, and I had some time left at the end, and it was a kind of in a kind of an E minor. It's not E minorish, maybe like E modal mode or whatever. And I just felt at that point, I just like, let's just go major. And then that sounded a bit cheesy. So once I put the sharp 11 in, resolving up to the fifth, it made it, kind of added
I like that
little extra tension to, instead of going to the 7 to the 1. And so it was pretty much just, paint by numbers. It was just at the end, I had 10 seconds left, and I thought, just let's change the mood.
I like that a lot. And we chose the inspiration photo to, so it wouldn't be stuck in one sort of genre and one sort of mood. We can definitely take it. The composers could definitely interpret it how they want to. So I like your.
I kind of like scored, totally, to tell you the truth. I just had the picture up, and I scored the picture like it was a scene. Like the whole thing was like a dream, and then trying to get into her head and maybe what she was dreaming.
Yeah, that's definitely the idea.
It wasn't even an inspiration. It was just like I was actually scoring the picture.
Awesome. Good. That's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. So yeah, can you tell us where you use the motif?
The motif came in around like bar 5, and it's pretty much. So that's 3 bass flutes, and then I have a low E. I don't play that much bass, basically a flat E. So I play it really straight, basically, as is.
So you layered the bass flutes.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a cool effect.
Yeah. It kind of, nobody ever knows what it is. I put it on everything, and everyone's kind of like, "What's that sound?" But
Yeah,
it adds some overtones to the to the MIDI.
Yeah. So what about the sample?
Well, the sample I just started with it. It's the first thing I pulled up, and I listened to it, and it seemed like I wasn't sure what key it was. It was just kind of like wacky. So I just put it in Melodyne and just kind of make a. Sorry, that's your phone. Actually just went in there to Melodyne and cheated a bit, but whatever. It's just like I just made it kind of an E and a B, so it's kind of like a power chord, just so it was tonal. And then that kind of set up like this kind of E bass. I thought, oh, that's it. And then when I saw the motif, I thought, well, it's not exactly E minor, but it could be E minor. It doesn't have to be, And so then I basically, once I had that motif, I figured, okay, that's E.
Mm-hmm.
The first string part was this down here. Let me just go. And so I just kind of improvised this line. It kind of goes between like, the thing starts and there's like E minor and kind of goes. There's a kind of a trick. It kind of sounds like E minor to G kind of, but it's not really spelled out in the root. It's just like more like really I got down like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I think I got more bars. And then I put the last two notes in the B flat and the D at the very end.
Cool.
So very simple. Nothing to it really.
Yeah, as I was saying before, sometimes simple can be the best and the most effective.
And then I went and did some synth stuff afterwards, but I don't even know if I needed it. But I think I put a drone in.
Cool. Let's hear it.
It's just basically that just goes all the way through it.
The atmosphere, definitely.
And there's there's some things in Melodyne I'm gonna take in. And so it's just like, oh, and there's a zebra line off the top. Kind of but they're just kind of like in the background behind the strings, just like floating around. And then at the end, I just added a couple, little bits here just to kind of give it some weight.
Yeah, you use the layers in a very interesting way. I like that. It's very effective.
Yeah, it's very simple. When I went back and because before I said, what did I actually do? And then how we do that sometimes. It's just like, oh my god, it's not really that much there. I mean, it kind of gets interesting at the end. I mean, it's kind of like but I was kind of with that picture. I was kind of thinking of Ravel or Debussy or just that kind of, but more modern. I didn't want to just kind of keep it, Baroque or anything like that.
Well, I think with your composition, it's more about the sound palette, and I think you did a really interesting job with creating a palette and a sound set, especially with the layered bass flutes. I really like that.
Yeah, and it adds one real element, which is it always helps.
Yeah. So, which ingredient was the most difficult for you to use?
It's just like it's just I don't know. That's a hard question. Probably when I first heard the sample, because I just said, oh, because it's so world sounding, which and I love it. I use that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Melodyne, I think I was able to go in there and there was like some G sharps and B flats and Bs, and it kind of sounded clustery to my ears. And then once I just made it all, just an E and a B, it still sounded like the sample, but so that's probably the most massaging I had to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was cool, but it was kind of hurting my ears until I did that. Just like, and then once I did that, kind of set up the piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, the string part went, and then the bass flute. I just knew I wanted the C sharp to kind of be kind of Lydian around bar 7, in the melody. So I just wanted to keep it real simple, but just have a couple notes that were interesting.
Yeah, to get some flavor, right?
Yeah, because that's all you need is just like a little bit of spice,
Yeah. Would you have done anything differently had you had more time?
I would have probably screwed it up more. Like I probably would have put more parts in it, and and sometimes that's why.
It's true.
I'm a really fast writer, and then sometimes I go back, and the more I spend time with it, it'll just be like, oh, it's too complicated, and then you just kind of, because we have so many sounds right now, like my palette is like, we all have thousands of sounds, so it's ridiculous. It's almost like just zeroing in, But this is tight, I think, depending. I think a lot of times in movie music, I tend to write very simple,
Right. Yeah. So I'm seeing that you are not using a template, correct?
No, I am. I actually just deleted, just for this, the sake of today.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I just finished a horror movie last week, and I had like truly about 1,000 sounds up.
Yeah. Right.
So,
right.
Which sometimes gets confusing. Sometimes, like when I look at it like this, I go, "Oh, it's so clean." I only use 20 tracks. Usually, I have got hundreds up.
Yeah.
Which is good and bad. You kind of like, I think we fight with that. It's just like you got too much choice.
Absolutely.
You just got to pick your band and just write with that.
Yeah, which is why we wanted to do this. We wanted everyone to kind of, look at their templates, see what's efficient, what is not, what's working, and kind of, go over their own process. So
yeah, I have like 5,000 strings, and I ended up using, the high string, no rosin, one of the Spitfire ones, which is so great because it's just like, it doesn't have a lot of like, extra notes to it, where a lot of the samples are just so big.
Yeah. So you said you are under a lot of deadlines a lot, and you're a very fast writer. Do you have any tips for people to write faster and kind of optimize their creativity?
Just don't second guess yourself, I guess, and just, I think that the music I like, when I listen to it, there's always one thing I can hear. There's always, like, you can have lots of little things underneath, but just a through line to go through the whole thing, and just don't make it too complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, and then sometimes within that you can be totally complicated, but it's just like, don't just put something down and then just build on it.
I agree. I think that's good advice. I myself just personally second guess everything I write, and then it can turn into, writing incredibly slowly. So I think
if I've got no deadline, I think we're all like that.
Yeah.
I think that when you do have a deadline, the thing is just don't second guess yourself. Just
Yeah.
Go there and then just shine it. Even if it's terrible, just like make it as good as you can.
Absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of times we just have no time. If you're on a TV show or whatever, you don't really have time.
Yeah. Well, congrats again on your win, and I hope
much,
you are enjoying Dorico.
Yeah, I just opened it. It's like, I'm a Logic guy, so I haven't even, it kind of like, but it'll be great.
Yeah, it's a really good program. We were lucky to have Steinberg sponsor last week's event, and this week's event. So
awesome.
Yeah, so we are really happy that you got that.
Yeah, and it's so great. Yeah, thank you for doing this. It was just like, it was such
of course. Yeah, we hope to do it again, and we hope to make it into a regular thing. Definitely.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
Yeah. So thanks for chatting, John.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Yeah.